Hey y'all, DC Phil here. Today's video is actually going to be a tutorial. I know I had been promising you one for quite some time now, but I hadn't been able to. I'd been super busy with work, and actually I still go into work today, but I figured I don't go in until later on, so I may as well make a tutorial really quickly because it is a really fast craft that I'm going to make today. So for those of you who So basically the craft that I made was a crayon roll, and I'm trying to get it ready right now. It should have been ready before, but I wasn't prepared. So basically this is for kids when you go out to dinner or you're going on a road trip or something of that nature, and you want to keep the kids occupied, but they have an attention span of a child, of course, so they don't stay busy. So for those kids who love to color, I made this little deal here, and it kind of inspired me by my nephew. Actually, he has something similar to this, but it's an actual bag, which I made one as well. This is just a roll, so there it is. So it holds up to 5 crowns in there, and you can make it however big you want to. This is the second one I made, and this was the first one ever that I made. So this one obviously is a lot longer. This one is, oops, wrong way. This one is a little under 12 inches, and I believe this one was 10 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's like 9.5 inches. So again, it depends on how many crowns you want to hold in there and how big you want it. And if you're using it for something other than crowns, you can use this for like pens or pencils at school. Just make this a lot taller than this. I think this is, what is it? Like 4.5 inches tall. And this one was 5 inches tall. So it just depends on how big you're wanting to make them. So this is basically what it is, and they just roll up and the crowns stay in there. And I haven't yet figured out how to make a closure for it, but as I was grabbing all of my supplies, what I'm going to need for this tutorial, I went ahead and I grabbed some Velcro dots, because, I mean, you could use that just as easily. So how you're going to do it is you're going to roll this up, you're going to stick a Velcro dot right around here, this area, wherever you want it, and you're just going to stick both of them together and then close it. So that way when it opens, your Velcro dot will be here. You'll have your thing to use, you can roll it back up, and you can secure it again. The other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to make another roll, which I'm not going to do it in this tutorial just because I want to show you how it's made. But I want to make one to where there's like a little flap right here, nothing too fancy or anything, just a little flap to where it comes down maybe right about here. And maybe secure it with a piece of Velcro or something, or magnets. I haven't decided what yet. And that's just to keep the crowns in, because when you roll this up, these little pockets right here tend to get loose, so you'll have a few crowns end up slipping out. And I know I'm pushing them out right now, but that's what will end up happening, and it's nothing you can prevent because it's just the little slots that the crowns were made for. They end up getting loose once you roll it. So I'm not going to make that on this video, but I will make another video soon after this, showing you how I ended up doing that. Okay, so let's get started. So the supplies you'll need for this tutorial, you're going to need, obviously, tape. I'm going to use Scotch brand today. I typically don't, which is weird. I grabbed these and I was kind of excited to use them because I hadn't used the Monster Alley yet, which is the name of this tape. So I went ahead and I grabbed both the Scotch Monster Alley and then the Scotch, I think this one's called Green Apple if I'm not mistaken. So I think that'll be really cool. A crown roll for kids. The next thing you'll need is a ruler. This is just my standard 12-inch ruler. And since I'm using my big cutting mat, I'm also going to be using my, where is it, my 36-inch. I'll be using that today. You're going to also need an X-Acto knife or a hobby knife, either way. This one's an X-Acto, but you can use a hobby knife, it's the same thing. A pair of scissors. I used these Fiskars nonstick scissors, and I actually got them for a really good deal. They were at CVS for $7.99, and it was funny because the day before that, my husband and I were at Joann's, and I was interested in getting a pair. They were a lot bigger, and I have small hands, so these fit perfectly in my hands. And the other ones were $17.99, which was really, really crazy that they were $10 more than these. And I personally like these because they have a cute little design on them, and the other ones were just an orange handle. So some nonstick scissors if you have them. If you don't, regular scissors will work just as well. And like I said, if you're wanting to put a closure on it, you're going to take whatever closure you're wanting, whether it's Velcro or magnets or whatever. And obviously some crowns so you can test them. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get your tape, whichever tape you're using. Like I said, I was using a pattern tape and a solid one. And if you've worked with Scotch brand before, you know that it's the texture, the feel of it is it's a lot more thin than the Duct brand, and you will see that there are some bubbles here and there. I don't really care for any of that. I'd prefer that they wouldn't be there, but I mean, if you push hard enough, push out towards the edges, you can get all those little bubbles out. So, and like I said, it depends on how big you're wanting your roll to be. I don't know if I want to make mine a big one or if I want to make mine a small one. I'll just make it a small one just for the tutorial's sake. So I said that one was 10 inches. It was like 9.5, but I remember I cut it out to 10 and I guess it shrunk a bit. So I usually just cut off the little edge off the side just so I have a clean line. Okay, let me see. So I'm going to go to 10 inches, right? That's what I said. Okay. So you're going to want to cut 3 strips of your pattern tape. And if you're wanting to line up your design, I'm not really sure if this one lines up or not. I'm sure it does. It doesn't really look like it does, but this one's kind of a crazy pattern, so I'm not really worried about it too much. So you're just going to want to get, you know what, I'll just cut 3 strips of tape out. If you're wanting to line up your design, I would suggest doing it now. I'm not going to, so I'm just going to cut out my 3 strips of tape and then stick them on. And again, the 3 strips of tape is going to be according to how tall you want it. So if you want it for pencils or even for makeup brushes, you're probably going to want to do it maybe like 4 or 5 strips of tape going up so it's a little bit taller. So cut this last one. Okay, and just set that off to the side. So I'll grab my first strip. Sorry, I'm sitting on my bed, so all of my tools keep rolling down. So you're just going to line this up like you would make a wallet or anything else. You're just going to make a little fabric. So that should be tall enough. Then you're going to just flip this over and get your next tape, your inside color, which is my green one. And you're just going to line it up with it. And if you're wanting a, it's getting stuck to me. If you're wanting a nice trim on the top right here, you're going to want to leave a little space up at the top just so you can fold it over. If not, you don't have to put one like I did my first one. I didn't put any finish on the end, but I mean I probably should have, but I kind of like the way it looks, just one color, one side's one color and the other side's another color. So it's completely up to you what you want to do. I don't know if I'm going to do it yet or not. I haven't decided. Okay, so just place this on top. And like I said, you're going to want to push this one. If you're using the Scotch brand, you're going to want to push outwards just to make sure that all of the creases are out of it. All the little bubbles. You'll see if you've used Scotch tape before, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So you're just going to want to press all of that out. And I'll line this up with that line. And then just cut it off of the roll. And then do the same. Sorry, I want to try to do as less editing as I have to for this video, so I'm probably just going to be randomly talking. Don't mind me. Okay, so if you're deciding that you want a clean edge on the top, which it will make it look like this, where it's the pattern down here for the crowns and then the inside color, and then the outside color is going to be up at the top. If you're wanting to do that, then all you would do is, like normal, you would get a piece of tape, stick it down to however tall you want it, however big you want the trim coming over, whether it's 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch or whatever. If not, you're just going to place this, I usually do it this way, you'll just place it directly on top of it and you won't have to worry about anything. I don't know what I want to do with this. I'll just have it go all the way to the top. I won't have a brim on this one. Brim or trim, whatever you guys are calling it nowadays. So you'll just place that on there. And again, push all of those little air bubbles out. So this is what it should look like when you're complete. Like I said, it's just going to look like a duct tape fabric, as if you're making a wallet or anything like that. So what you're going to want to do next is you're just going to want to trim off the sides. And that way, just to ensure that there's no sticky on any sides. Like I said, these are when the non-stick scissors really do come in handy. So once you have this is going to be, we'll put it like that. So once you have this set, you're going to want to grab your pattern tape again. And we cut this to 10 inches, so there's a 10 inches right there. You're going to want to get this piece of tape and cut it 12 inches. So whatever the measurement is, whatever the length is you decided, you're going to want to cut it 2 inches bigger on each side, so it makes it 4 inches bigger. Okay, so you can see there. Okay, so you can see there that here's my 10 inches. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm going to want to save 2 extra inches off to the side. So I'm going to cut it right here. And you want to make sure that there's 2 inches on this side as well. So it should basically look like that. You can move this aside. Move this piece aside for now. I'll just stick it upwards. Okay. And this is where any scrap tape, if you have any like tape from your like scrap ball or something, if you have some that you can just rip off of there and use it, that's cool. If not, that's fine. I don't, so I'm just going to use some of my green tape just so I don't waste the pattern. Where is it at? There it is. And you don't really need that much, so it's not like a big waste or anything if you have to pull some off of your roll. Sorry, I'm having problems getting this tape up. There it goes. Okay, so I'm going to cut... Again, I'm going to cut this side off. Just trim that off just a bit. So for each crown slot, the crowns are, let me see. Let's see, they're not quite 1/2 inch wide. but I like to make just a little extra wiggle space in there. So basically, for each crown you're having put in your roll, you're going to need a 1-inch strip of tape. So you can leave the width the same. You can leave the height the same. You don't need to add or take any off of this because it'll fit this. But you're going to need, I think I'm going to use 5. I think that's probably how many will fit in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So basically at every inch mark you're going to go ahead and cut all the way down. So I have 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, and then here's my 5th one. What you're going to want to do next is grab this piece of tape that you cut that is 14 inches, because it's 2 inches on each side bigger than this itself. Okay, so the way I do it is I'll just line it up to like this hole mark down here and line that up as straight as possible. And it is a little bit difficult because it is sticky. So those 2 extra inches that you left on the side, the little leeway, you're going to want to skip those. Grab a piece of your 1-inch mark tape that you cut, and you're going to place it on the 3-inch mark line. So it's going to go just like this. Just like that. Like I said, this is really difficult because it's super sticky. Okay, so then you're going to skip an inch and then put an inch all the way down. Skip an inch and then put that all the way down. That totally just got stuck sticky side to sticky side, and I don't know how it didn't get ruined, but I'm not complaining. Okay. I'm having trouble getting this last piece of tape up. Okay, so then the same thing, you're going to leave those 2 empty, and then do it on, let me see, we'll do it right in the middle of these 2 just because I don't have an extra piece and I don't feel like cutting one. Just as long as those 2 inches on the side are not being used. So that's fine like that. So you can see I have all 5 of my strips on there. So you're going to grab this back. We'll line this up with that. And basically you can see when you're making it, you can kind of see through where the strips are on the inside. Let's see, it's right there, right there. Okay. So you just want to place it down, lining up with the bottom, and then give it a good press. Oops. There we go. That's kind of what's good about the Scotch, is it, even if it does get stuck to itself, it doesn't completely get ruined. So once those are pressed down, before you close the sides, before you fold the sides over, just grab a crown. You don't have to get all of them, just grab one, and you might need to use your fingernail or something to get it up at first. Put it in, and you can see that it's coming out from the bottom, and that's okay. You just want to get the crown used to where it's going to be, and go all the way down. And when you put it in there, just press on the sides just to make sure. Okay. And doing this will just ensure that all the crowns do fit, that they're not too small or too snug or anything like that. So you'll put that last one. And this is why you don't want to close it up yet. So for your last one, you might have a little bit of a problem making sure that it's stuck. So you just rip that part up really quickly. That's way too much. That's good. You just rip that part up, fix what you need to, and then close it back up. Perfect. Okay, so once everything's fitting perfectly, you're just going to want to fold that over to the other side. The same thing with this one. And you can trim that if you want. I recommend folding it over, that way it has that stability that it needs. So that's that. You're going to want to grab another strip of tape, which would be the pattern tape. And you're going to want to cut this piece the same length as your actual roll, which is still 10 inches. Yep, didn't change on me. Okay, and I see some sticky here that I'm going to trim just to make sure that it stays even. Okay, so we'll cut this at the 10-inch mark, like I said. Okay, and then this one, it's up to you if you want to or not. You don't really have to. You can cut this in half to save tape. Am I going to cut it in half? Nah, I'm not going to. I don't have anything else I'm going to make with this, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to put the whole piece there. But if you were making multiple rolls, you can go ahead and cut this in half so you can use this other strip for the same thing for the bottom. But since I'm not really worried about it right now. Okay, so you're just going to want to put this there, press it down, and just fold this over. See, like I said, you will have a lot of sticky on the side, on the bottom, but if that's an issue for you, you can go ahead and just cut it in half and use the other half for something else, like I said. I'm not really worried about it right now, so that's why a whole strip of tape's going on there. And I buy my own tape, so I don't really care if I waste it, because I can just go and get some more if I need. If you don't purchase your own tape and your parents do, I would suggest helping them out and save a little by trying to conserve your tape as much as you possibly can. So I'm just simply doing some trimming on the sides, and that's pretty much it. So you just grab your crowns. And this whole time I've been saying crowns. I don't know how you guys say them, if you say crowns or colors or Crayolas. I mean, these are obviously Crayola brand, but I say crowns. I pronounce it crowns. So, and I know in my family it was always like a thing that we would always make fun of each other because of the way we pronounced certain words. And crowns was one of them. So I think that's pretty funny. It would be pretty funny if you guys made a video response pronouncing the word crowns, how you pronounce it. So, yeah. So I'm just putting in my last crayon coloring utensil. So that's pretty much what it looks like. And when you're done, you're just going to roll it. And like I said, you can put a Velcro dot right there. I guess I can. You know what? I'm not going to use a Velcro dot. Yeah, I have to. My tripod's standing on top of my box where my supplies are. So I hadn't even opened these before, so I'm doing it right now. Okay. So if you haven't used these before, here you have the soft side and then you have the rougher side. I'm going to roll this up. So right where it closes, like right around here, that's where I'll put the first dot. So I'll put it right there. And if you're going to use this the same way, do this the same way rather, there's probably an easier way of doing this. If you know me, I like doing things difficult and making things a lot more difficult than they are. Okay, so that's probably not going to work like that. So again, roll this up, and there you go. You have your duct tape roll. You can move your Velcro dot wherever you want. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. It was requested from Instagram, so if you're not following me on Instagram, go ahead and do so. All of my links will be down below in my fanny pack. If you don't know what my fanny pack reference is, I will explain it in a later video. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Go check out my Instagram and my Facebook. Like I said, all the links are down below. Yes, if there's something in particular that you're wanting me to make or wanting me to record making, please feel free to go ahead and leave a comment down below, or go ahead and send me a message in my inbox. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.